What the heck is this guitar? Hey guys, welcome back to the Bald Shredder channel, and yes, today we are checking out this crazy AliExpress Jackson hybrid monstrosity. But real quick guys, before we get to all of that, if you could just do me a quick favor and reach down and hit that subscribe button if you are not subscribed already. Thank you. Okay guys, now, are you ready? Are you sitting down? You got your popcorn? You got your drink? Because this might take a while. The history on this guitar starts way back more than 4 years ago. And I'm talking about the neck on this guitar. We've got to talk about the neck first. More than 4 years ago, I went on AliExpress and I did a custom order for this neck and a strap body. And I had those made because I wanted to make my own replica of the George Lynch Charvel sub camo guitar. And I did. I made the guitar. Here's a little piece from the video. You can see me holding it there. And it turned out okay. It was pretty cool, but I was never completely satisfied with it as far as the way it felt, the way it played. I just wasn't completely satisfied. So I ended up deciding that I was gonna make another sub camo guitar, which is this one, and I decided I would make it more to my personal liking. So instead of the strap body, I did a Dinky body, and instead of the Floyd Rose, I did a hardtail, and it's got the Strat headstock reversed, and it just turned out totally killer. This is one of my best guitars, one of my favorites. All right, so what about the original sub camo, the one that had this neck on it? Well, I decided to take it apart and I sold the body, but I still had the neck, so I ended up using the neck on another project. It was a black Strat-shaped guitar with a white pickguard. You can see it here. And both of those videos, guys, the new sub camo video and the black and white Strat with this neck on it, those were both over 3 years ago. So this project has been a long time in the making. So what happened next? Well, at some point I decided I didn't really like the way the reverse pointy headstock looked on that Strat body. I just don't like the pointies on a Strat body. I think they look much better on a Dinky body. So I took that guitar apart, that body, the black body and all that stuff, it's still as it was. It's sitting in a pile, a very large pile of projects that I need to get to at some point. Okay, so we're making our way forward in the timeline here, guys. So now, almost 2 years ago, we're coming up on 2 years ago, I got this body from AliExpress. You can see me talking about it in this video clip right here. I uploaded that video on February 7th, 2022. So almost 2 years ago. And the reason I'm calling this thing like an AliExpress Jackson custom hybrid or whatever is because I'm pretty confident that that original body was a Jackson body. It was made for a Jackson guitar. But there were some little mistakes on it, so it was like what they call like a factory second or whatever, and then they ended up selling it on AliExpress. So what did I do exactly? Well, I filled in that middle spot because I knew I didn't want that middle humbucker. I converted it from having the trim, you know, the whammy, just converted it so I could put a hardtail bridge on it. If you look on the back, you can see I filled that in with like a bunch of wood, like blocks of wood, and then drilled the holes so that the strings could go through to that or from that hardtail bridge. Also right here where the body connects to the neck, it was a lot more slanted down this way, and I was kind of afraid like the screws would be too long and they would end up going too far into the neck, maybe all the way up to the fretboard. So I put a little piece of wood here, kind of tried to like make it thicker, some wood filler, whatever. It's not perfect, but it works. And then also on the control layout, guys, there was also another hole here, like for a tone knob. I didn't want that, so I filled it in. And even on the headstock, guys, on the neck here, I had to do a little bit of work because on that original sub-camo copy that I made, it had the shelf for the Floyd Rose locking nut because that guitar had a Floyd Rose. I wanted to take care of that. I didn't want that flat spot there, so I ended up kind of like adding a piece of wood here to make it more like straight rather than rounding off and then getting up to that shelf. And you know, you need less width for a regular nut than you do like a Floyd Rose locking nut. So I did my best to kind of take care of that, and it looks okay. And then the paint, guys, the paint. Check out the paint. I know it looks sort of like a brown or copper colored paint. This is supposed to be that hammered paint. Have you ever seen those paint cans and it says hammered? It's supposed to look like metal, like somebody took a piece of metal and hit it with a hammer, and it's got all those little like ridges in the paint. And you can kind of see it in some parts of the paint, like right here. In certain areas, it turned out really good. On the headstock, the hammering kind of comes out a lot better than it did on the body. I guess I probably wasn't using the right spray-on technique, and in most of the surface of the body, it's a little bit more flat than I would like it to be. And I think it would look a lot better if the hammering part really came out like all over the body, but it still looks pretty cool. Now, I bet you're wondering like, dude, why do you have those things glued onto the guitar body? What are those? What's going on there? And to be honest, guys, I'm not really a fan of like sticking things on a guitar body, especially stickers. When people put stickers on guitar bodies, I really kind of don't like the look of that. I don't do it on any of my guitars. My original intention was not to put these things on here. In fact, I'm not completely convinced that it looks really cool that way, but something happened, and this is another lesson that I've learned. It's just one more thing to think about before you go like painting a guitar or finishing a guitar. The volume knob was originally right there, right where you see the little yin-yang symbol, okay? I didn't even think about it before I painted it and before I finished the whole thing. When the switch here, the three-way switch, is all the way up in the front position for the neck pickup, it's right next to where the volume knob was. Like, really not good placement at all. And if I would have thought about that before I did the painting, I would have plugged that hole and put the volume probably where it is now. And then I wouldn't have had to do all that. And yes, I could have just plugged that hole and done a little like, you know, touch-up paint, but I thought that's gonna look weird. The paint's not gonna match. It's not gonna look right. And so I just had this idea in my head that I'll just stick these little things on here, I'll cover up the hole, and then, well, it's gonna look weird if I only have one maybe, and it's kind of in a weird spot. So I had these other things. They're actually little pendants from a necklace, and I think I got 3 of them on AliExpress, and then this one here with the dragon on it, I got it recently from Temu because I knew I was gonna stick these on here and I needed one more. So it just gives it kind of a unique design look. I don't know if it looks great. You know, some of you guys might think, yeah, it looks pretty awesome, dude, and other people might be like, that looks really stupid. So, you know, whatever. I'm okay with that. And today, guys, today was the day that I finally finished this. I mean, it's been hanging on my wall right over there for like a year and a half, just staring at me, and I've just never gotten to it. Just always look at it going, I need to finish that at some point. I need to finish that. And today was the day. It's like, okay, that's it. I'm finishing it today. I did this stuff today. Put that there, drilled the new hole for the volume knob, glued those on there, did it today, and here I am making the video today, finally. So, how does the guitar play? Fantastic! This thing is awesome. And I'm gonna go ahead and attribute that 99% to the neck. So remember, I had one of the builders on AliExpress make the neck for me. It was originally that sub-camo guitar. The frets, This has genuine Dunlop 6100 extra jumbo frets. They don't have those frets over in China where it was made. So I bought a pack of the frets, put them in a package, and mailed them all the way to the guy in China, and he installed them on the neck. And he did a really good job. I think I did do a fret level just to get them perfect, but it doesn't have sharp fret ends. He did a great job on the neck profile. It's a thin, sort of D-shaped profile, just like a Jackson guitar. And it was an unfinished neck, and I ended up finishing it in tung oil, which makes it super smooth and super fast. So because I leveled the frets and the fretwork is good, I can get really low action, and this thing just plays like a shredder's dream. And it also sounds good, yeah? The pickups, guess what the pickups are? Musiclily. And these are not even like expensive Musiclily pickups. This is what they call their basic humbucker. It's a ceramic humbucker, and the output's like in the 15K range. This is also a ceramic pickup. It's the Hot Rails style neck humbucker, good output for shredding. I'm gonna have links for both of these pickups down in the video description if you wanna check them out. They're really affordable, like extremely, and they sound great. So, all in guys, with the cost of the body, the cost of the neck, yeah, by the way, when I originally had that neck and the body made, it was not expensive at all, very inexpensive. I'm pretty sure it was less than $200, quite a bit less than $200 just for the neck and that original body. So when you add everything up, neck, body, the pickups, which weren't expensive, inexpensive hardtail bridge, inexpensive tuners, whatever, this thing is well under $200. So well under 200 bucks, I've got a totally awesome playing and sounding and unique looking, for better or worse, guitar that's really, it's one of a kind. And I know what some of you might be saying at this point, dude, I wish I could do that. I could never do that. I don't know how to do any of that. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, I didn't know how to do any of that. You don't know until you start doing it, until you just start, practicing. You get a cheap guitar and you modify it. You learn how to change the pickups. You learn how to do like basic setup things. Nobody taught me. I didn't go to any school for it. I'll look up stuff on YouTube, some videos on how to do this and how to do that and get ideas. But a lot of it is just trial and error, guys. I'm no like magical magician guitar technician, not at all. But I've just learned things along the way. And every time I put together like a self-build or a parts caster or whatever, I learn something new. Like on this one, I learned to really think about where's the placement of the knobs and the switches before I go painting it or anything like that, right? It needs to be thought about beforehand. Now I know. And every time I do something, I learn something new. And I totally encourage you guys to just give this kind of stuff a try. So while this is like an under $200, parts caster, and for some of you guys, you might think, oh yeah, whatever, no big deal, looks okay. But for me, because I made it, it's really special to me, and it means something to me. And there's this huge sense of satisfaction when I'm playing this, when I'm ripping on it, when I'm shredding on it, because I know I did it, I made it, I set it up. I guaranteed, I made sure that it plays great. And I guess, it's kind of hard to put a price on that kind of thing. So the last thing I want to say about that, guys, is you're never going to know what you're capable of unless you try. All right, guys, so let me know what you think about this guitar down in the comments. Cool? Not cool? What would you have done differently? I don't know. Whatever you think about it, I'd really like to know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.